أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Alhamdulillah, indeed, all glory and praise is due to Allah. We glorify and praise Him and we ask Him for help and forgiveness. In Allah, we seek refuge from the evils of ourselves and from our wrongdoings. He whom Allah guides shall not be misguided, and he whom He misguides shall never be guided. I bear witness that there is no true God except Allah alone without any partners, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his abd and messenger. Inshallah, we'll start Surah Insan today. It is the surah which comes immediately after Surah Qiyamah, and we have already finished Surah Qiyamah. And as I have already said that all these surahs have the same context. Um, they were all revealed in the Meccan phase of prophethood, and these basically belong to the earliest surahs which were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu immediately after Surah Alaq and Surah Mudassir, the first 7 verses of Surah Mudassir. All these surahs which are now going to come till the last Surah Nas, all of them were revealed one after the other in quick succession in the earliest phase of prophethood. And so most of them have the same topics. The topics generally they talk about Tawheed and prophethood and Akhira. But the special feature of this surah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah He talks about the responsibility and position of man on this earth. So it is very important to know that to know that who you are and what are you doing in this world. Why were you created? What are your duties? Who you are in this world. And then you need to know what is the reality of this world. What is the reality of God? What is the reality of Akhira? If all these things are clear and they are clear in the mind, they give you a good perspective that what are you supposed to do next. So in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the position of man on this earth, that man is Allah's Khalifa, and Khalifa is a representative of the ruler, his governor on this earth, and his duty is to implement his rule over his earth. So establishment of deen is the sole duty of humans on this earth. So a human is the Khalifa, representative of the ruler, the Hakim, and the duty is establishment of the rule of the rulers on this world. And we all know that the reality of this world is that it is temporary and it's a test. And this is also going to be made quite clear in this surah. So in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you what you are doing in this world, what is happening around you. And He's also telling you what is the right way. And then He leaves it on you that whether you choose to follow the right path or not. Then the surah talks about in detail about Jannah, that those who choose to follow the right path, eternally they will be blessed with Jannah. And then there's a long description of Jannah here till ayah number 22. And then again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Quran, that it was revealed piecemeal to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, and that was the wisdom behind Allah, behind the revelation of Quran, wisdom of Allah. And why it was wisdom, we are going to talk about it. And eventually Allah, the ending ayahs, they talk about again about the free will, and tells the Prophet ﷺ and the believers that everything is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Though human beings have the will and choice, the free will exists for human, but the free will is also under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'm going to explain it further inshallah when the ayah comes. So the first ayah says, is there not a period of time when each human is nothing yet worth mentioning? So when any sentence in Arabic language it starts with hal, it means that it's a questioning sentence. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a statement, a questioning statement, but our answer is not required by it because answer is already known. So, is there not a period of time when each human being is nothing yet worth mentioning? So, there are many periods of time when human beings were nothing, they were insignificant. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically telling the humans about their insignificant origins and presence. And we should not forget that that in these surahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to the pagans of Makkah who were extremely proud and haughty. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them that you are haughty and proud now, but there was a time when they were not there, and the world was running just perfectly. So before we are born, the earth is still running perfectly. Everything is being done. There's nothing missing. Everything is perfect because it's not us who are managing it. It's not us who are controlling it. Human beings are of the thought that if we are not there, maybe the world is going to collapse. But we see that people die every day and nothing changes. The world and life goes on as if nothing has happened. And billions of people have died. Many of them thought that the world cannot function without them. But nothing happened. This is a point towards the insignificance of a human being. Even if he is a king like Pharaoh and Namrud who thought that they are gods themselves, once they were eliminated, it created no difference to life on earth. And then there was another phase when humans were insignificant. That was the time when when the baby, the embryo is in the womb of the mom. And at time even the mom doesn't know that he's there. But he's there. He exists. But even the mom doesn't know that he exists. Then who is taking care of the nourishment of the child? Who is taking care that everything is, the development is done, the nourishment is provided, the security is provided, and he develops into a beautiful, handsome, complete, healthy person? And then there will come another time when you will not exist. And still the life will go on as if nothing has happened. So this points towards the insignificance of human beings, the worthless existence of human beings, that whether you are there or you are not there, it will not create any difference to anything. So you shouldn't be that proud and haughty and try to reject the prophets, try to reject the revelations, try to reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauzubillah. Who are you? You are nobody. Next ayah says, for indeed we alone created human beings from the drop of mixed fluids in order to test them. So we made them hear and see. So as we know that in Surah Qiyamah and the very last Surah ayahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about the creation of human beings. And again in the second ayah of Surah Insan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again talking about the creation of human beings. And Allah said that I created you when nobody knew that you existed. I provided you nourishment, I provided you security. I created you in the best of forms, gave you intellect, gave you beautiful faces, a perfect body, gave you hearing and seeing so you can interact with your... These are the senses with which we interact with our environment. And we are able to do things which are required by us, which are needed by us, in which we interact with the universe, with our parents, with our surrounding. So this is how we get information. This is how we know what is going around us. And then Allah has given intellect so that you can integrate all the knowledge that you have gathered from around you. Integrate it, reflect upon it, and then find out who Allah is and choose the right path. So Allah has not created you and left you like that. He is the most wise Al-Hakim. He has given you all the faculties for you to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for you to understand who you are and why are you here and where you are going. So it is very important that we realize this thing, because this life is going to come to an end very soon, and then we have to stand up for accountability. Every other day people are dying and we are attending funerals. So it is not huge big news that one day we would disappear as well, like the billions of people who have disappeared. And then what? Have you ever thought about it? Have you done any planning for that time? And then Allah says, so so that we might try Him, or in order to test Him. So Allah has given you the purpose of your creation. The purpose of your creation is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this life is full of tests, that in spite of all the tests and distractions, do you keep on worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do you remember? Do you focus? Do you lead a God-centric life in spite of whatever is going on around you? Because the tests are there to distract you from your path, from the path of worship. These tests have been, everything is a test in this life. Everything is a test in this life. Your beautiful family, your spouse, your kids, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says your children are your biggest tests. Biggest tests are your children. If you don't have them, you are in a misery. And if you have them, and then different things appear, and diseases, and the kids leave the home, sometimes things happen, the disagreements are there, there's loss of, and they continues one after another, one after another, there's a test which disturbs the mind, which disturbs the soul. You can't see your children, it disturbs the soul, you are distracted, you go into distress and depression. So when they are not there, it's a test, and when they are there, it's another test. And if something happens to your kids, it's huge. It's one of the hugest misery for the concern for the parents all the time, because they are also in their own tests, and they are still kids. They might not be able to identify that their test is coming their way. So humans were created in order to test them. So never forget that, never complain that why is this happening to me. It is happening to every person. Every person, in whatever capacity he is going through a test in his life. I have seen people who say, why does Allah does this to us? There are people who are living such blissful lives. I look at them and I say, please point out one person who is living a blissful life. You do not know about tests of other people. But one thing is definite, and is guaranteed, that every person is passing through his own test. The test papers are different, but test is there for every human being. So never think that somebody is having a life like a bed of roses and it's you who is going through problems. No. This mindset is a wrong mindset. When Quran says that Allah has created man for a test, then every man is going through his own test. Some people are being blessed and being tested, and some people, Allah has taken away the blessings and is testing them. But both of them are being tested continuously. So the people who are being blessed, so when some people say that who are having more harder tests, the people who are blessed are having more harder test, or the people from whom the blessings have been taken away are having a more harder test? So the scholar says that the people who are blessed are being tested harder. Yes, the people who are blessed and are living a comfortable life and they have no concern in this world, they are the people who are being tested more. Because number one, there is nothing to call them back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people who are being tested, they turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for patience, for mercy, for deliverance from problems. But the ones who are being blessed extensively by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing reminds them of Allah to turn back, to be grateful. And the correct path is the path of being grateful. The correct path is the path of being grateful. So those people who are blessed day and night and don't have a concern at all, those people, when they reflect and turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in gratefulness, and remember and focus that they were created for worship and not for all the blessings that have been provided, not distracted by it, because their distraction is huge. The more blessed you are, the most distracted you are. And again in Quran, again and again and again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that I could have made your houses and your roofs and your stairs and everything in gold. if I did not think that you are going to be distracted by it. So even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the ones who are blessed, the blessings are huge distractions. The blessings are the hugest distractions which turn you away from your path, the path of worship. And remember, we are abd and we are doing worship is ibadah and we are the abd. And ibadah does not mean ritual that I pray and in between the prayers I do whatever I feel like doing. During the rituals you do worship and between the rituals you are slaves. You still lead the life which you have been ordered to lead. You cannot follow your own desires in between. Okay, I've prayed all 5 prayers. I have done tahajjud as well. Now I can do whatever I feel like doing. I need a break. Because even in between these rituals, you are a slave and you are still under the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Those rituals are not, if those rituals are not the worship, the prayers, the fasting, the hajj, roza, if they are not changing you in between the rituals, then the quality of those rituals, you have to think about it. Was it of proper quality? Did I pray well enough if I am not being stopped from doing wrong in between the prayers? Was the quality of my prayer enough to get it accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because Allah does not accept all kinds of prayers. Some prayers are thrown back on the face of the doer. They are thrown back on the face of the doer. So the prayer is the number one thing that we need to focus. Everything else should be put on side when the time of prayer comes. You should always try to pray immediately after the azan has been sounded, has been recited. Immediately. Because Allah is calling you towards Him. The more you delay, the more it creates hypocrisy of the heart. Ayah number 3, we already showed them the way, whether they choose to be grateful or ungrateful. So the way is to be grateful. Under all circumstances, whether you are blessed or whether you are not blessed, you have to be grateful. Maintain focus that I am leading a God-centric life. I was created to worship. And under all distractions, you maintain focus. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has showed us the way of the right path. How? Through Quran and through the Prophets. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the appointment of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the revelation which was given to them is the way which we have to choose, on which we have to move. Sirat-e Mustaqim, the way of Islam. Indeed, we have prepared for the disbelievers chains and shackles and blazing fire. So here this single ayah talks about hellfire, that the disbelievers will be chained. They will be chained around their arms and their hands and their legs, and big shackles around their necks, and they will be thrown in that condition into the hellfire. And then from ayah number 5, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start describing the Jannah. And we know that Jannah is one of the things of the unseen. So here the word Muttashabih, I want to explain it a little. I think we talked about it before as well. So in Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in the Quran He has created in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given 2 types of verses: the Muhkam verses and the Muttashabih verses. Muhkam verses are the clear verses in which no deliberation or reflection is required. They are orders which have to be carried out exactly in the same way. As for example, in Surah Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told that the inheritance will be distributed in the ratio of 2:1, 2 portions for the boy and 1 portion for the girl. So let's say a house has 1 boy and 1 girl, and all the inheritance will be divided into 3 portions, out of which 2 will be given to the boy and the third will be given to the girl. So this is a fixed commandment by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No deliberation is required. It will be carried out in the same way. And if there are 2 boys and 1 girl, then the inheritance will be divided into 5 portions. And each son will be given 2 portions and the daughter will be given 1 portion. So this is how we divide the inheritance. But there are Muttashabih verses there as well. The Muttashabih verses are those which talk about things which are of unseen. So since nobody has seen them and we know nothing about it, The only information that we know about it is the one which is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, or the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has told us about it. And other than that, we know nothing about it. So the correct way of a believer to interact with mutashabih verse is that we literally, whatever is written, we believe in it. We literally, the literal meanings of that verse, we believe in it, but we never try to find out the hows of that verse. So all the, since Jannah is one of the unseen things, so all these verses will fall into the category of mutashabih. And whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in these verses, and whatever their literal meanings are, we believe in it. We know what is being said. But we do not go around and ask hows, because the people who ask about hows, they are distracted from the right path. In Surah Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the people who indulge into the understanding or explanations or interpretations about of the mutashabih verses, they have twisted hearts. They have their hearts are not on the right path. They will be distracted away from the right path, because nobody has seen it and nobody has told about it. So we better not indulge into these verses. Just leave them alone. Allah has said them, we understand the meaning and we believe it. We are the people of Samena wa Atana. We heard and we followed. We did not ask hows and whys. This is the way you interact with mutashabih verses. So I was talking about just two sentences about the people who interpret these verses and try to explain hows. As the Quran says, they have twisted hearts. So never ever try to know the hows of how these things will happen. Whatever Allah talks about of the unseen, how this will happen, never try to know it. And if somebody is trying to explain, never try to pay attention to that thing. Just leave it alone. That is the right path for a believer. Just leave it alone and concentrate on things which are clear. So I will quickly go through these verses. Indeed, the virtuous will have a drink of pure wine flavored with camphor. Camphor or kafur was a spice in those days, in olden days, which came from India, and the Arabs used to flavor their wine with it, and it was like an exotic drink. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that exotic things will be provided in the drinks will be provided in Jannah to the believers. From a spring where Allah's servants will drink, flowing at their will. So wherever you want, so this wine will be flowing like fountains and waterfalls in Jannah. And if a believer, he wants the spring to come towards him, he can just touch a wall and the spring will start flowing over there. So it's like imagination. If you want to imagine it, it is something like that. So there are faucets and taps where you can just open it up wherever you want it. It will appear there and you can open it up and have a drink. You don't have to make any struggle, get up and go and get it. No. You can just desire it, that a tap and a faucet opens up wherever you are sitting and it will open up like that. So something like that is being said over here. They are those who fulfill their vows and fear a day of sweeping horror. So these wines will be served to two types of people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not only describing the Jannah but also describing the characteristics of the people of Jannah. So what characteristics? These are the people who fulfill their vows and fear a day of sweeping horror. Vows, they fulfill their vows. So the scholars have said, in Marfal Quran it is said that vows are different from oaths. A vow is a nazar and oaths are qasam. And vows are extra obligatory things like the nafal worship which is done, in addition to the farz worship which needs to be done. So the scholars say that vows can only be made about things which are already worshipped, but they do not fall into the obligatory category. Like the nafal prayers that we do, or the tahajjud prayers, or the tarawih prayers, or the nafal fasts that we do. These can be done for the sake of vows. So Allah is saying these are the people who are extremely particular about their vows. Then just imagine how dutifully they perform their obligatory prayers as well. So they not only are very dutiful and punctual with their obligatory prayers, but they are very particular about their vows as well. The extra obligatory prayers which are needed, prayers and the worship is is has been done by them. So vow is basically a promise that I will do this extra worship, and then they are very very careful about their extra worships as well. So it is not I do not mean that you should be very careful about your extra worship and forget about your obligatory worships. No, this ayah means that they are extremely careful about their promised extra worship, and imagine how carefully they are performing their obligatory worships. So this is something additional with the same care which is being done. So these are the people who are the people of Jannah, who do extra prayers and then they do it with the same quality as the obligatory prayers, because they are scared of the day of sweeping horror, that is the day of resurrection, and give food despite their desire for it. So they give away food to the poor, to the orphan, and to the captive. The captives which are in jails or the prisoners of war, these are also people who cannot earn for themselves, and they are also helpless people. So they give food. So charity, all kind of charity, zakat, khairat, fitr, all kind of charity where you give to other people, and they are not giving what is surplus, but what which you also desire, that is the one which you are giving away. So basically here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that do not make this world the center of your desires. Give it away. Give it away, because you are afraid of that day of sweeping horror. Give it away, because that is not the center of your focus in this world. Give it away, though your ego is desiring and demanding it. Money, wealth, fame, time, energies. Give it away in the way of Allah, to the poor, to the orphan, and to the captive, saying to themselves, we feed you only for the sake of Allah, seeking neither reward nor thanks from you. So all the blessings that Allah has given you, time, energy, health, money, wealth, property, give it away for the sake of Allah. Though you desire it, yes, I want this money, it can help me in my rainy days. Yes, I want this money, I want to get a bigger car, a bigger house, better clothes, but you give it away and you tell yourself that I am doing it only for the sake of Allah. Remember Surah Mudassir, when Surah Mudassir started and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet ﷺ to go and start doing dawah to the pagans of Makkah, and do not ask for anything in return, and say that you are only doing sincerely for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and don't need it anything from you, and then show patience. Remember in the first ayahs of Surah Mudassir? So same thing is being, whenever you give something, make your intention very clear that you are doing only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you want reward only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not even a thank you from the person who you are giving food away to. One of my friends said that I gave my son some charity meals and to give it away. He came back and he was offended, and I asked him why, and he said they took the food and they didn't say thank you. My dears, it's you who need to say thank you to them, that they have taken something from you and you have something to show in your deeds on the day of resurrection. It's not them who should say thank you. Never look for a thank you when you do some good to someone. Never look for a thank you, because all you want, you are focused on the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do not need anything in return. So be sincere. Ikhlas is the order of the day, seeking neither reward nor thanks from you. We fear from your Lord a horrible, distressful day. So here the one Abusan is mentioned. Abusan, according to Bayanul Quran, Abusan means a face on which has never smiled. A face which is so distressed that when you look at it, you think that this face has never smiled in its life. And Kamtariran means a long, extremely difficult time. Extremely difficult and a long time. So it is basically this verse is pointing towards the billions of people who would be standing in front of their Lord on the day of resurrection, everyone extremely concerned what is going to happen to them. So Allah will deliver them from the horrors of that day and grant them radiance and joy. So who are them? These are the people who fulfill their vows and give charity, and they are sincere in their efforts. Who fulfill their vows and give charity, and they are sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone in their acts. So Allah will deliver them on that day. He is going to have mercy on them, and He is going to protect them, and they will be the people of Ashabul Yameen, as we talked about in Surah Mudassir. These are the people of Jannah, and grant them radiance and joy, and their faces will be glowing with happiness, and they are going to be honored on that day, and reward them for their steadfastness and perseverance with a garden in paradise and garments of silk. So, how Allah is going to reward them for their patience, their steadfastness, that they were being bombarded with tests one after another, one after another. But they remain steadfast in their worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you have been created for a worship, and this life is a test. And these tests will act as distractions. So, the test is that under all circumstances, are you grateful? I have just gone through that. Allah has shown you the way in ayah number 3 of this surah. Allah has shown you the way, that whether you are grateful or not. So the way is being grateful. So under all circumstances, whatever tests are falling on you, whether you are being blessed with more and more and more and more blessings, are you still leading a God-centric life? Are you still grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are you distracted? Or Allah is taking away blessings from you one after another, one after another, one after another. So are you steadfast, and are you still being grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are you distracted? So in both conditions, the test is that you still remain focused, God-centric, and be grateful, whether you are being blessed or whether the blessings are being taken away. So Allah will say on that day, and reward them for their patience with the gardens in paradise and garments of silk. There they will be reclining on canopied couches, never seeing scorching heat or bitter cold. So imagine that the pagans of Makkah were living in a desert, and deserts are extremely hot in the morning and very cold in the evening. So Allah is saying that whatever your heart's desire, an average temperature, temperate condition will be provided. Whatever they like, the weather which they like will be provided. So basically the ego will be satisfied. All the desires, the ego is asking for will be provided. Everything will be provided, what the heart desires. The garden's shade will be right above them, and its fruit will be made very easy to reach. So the canopied beds will be sheltered by beautiful trees, and their fruits will be provided to them. If you want to eat something, the branches are going to be lowered so you can have the fruit, rather than you get up and make any effort or struggle to get the fruit. In this world, there are times when you just don't want to get up and get a glass of water from the kitchen, and you feel like that the glass of water should fly towards you and you don't want to get up. Then in Jannah, it's actually going to fly towards you when you want it. So much ease is going to be provided to the ego, which went through a lot of trouble and struggles in this life to maintain their God-centric focus. At that time, they sacrificed everything, even their lives they sacrificed, but they did not get defeated and stopped worshipping Allah subhanahu. They were not defeated by the despair or the blessings. They were not distracted. They chose to give their lives than to choose something other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They chose to give their life, but they did not leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as their focus in their life. So these blessings are for those people. They will be weighted on with silver vessels and cups of crystals. So they are going to be waiters which will be holding beautiful silverwares and crystal glasses, crystalline silver filled precisely as desired. So Kaddaruha Takdira, the word Kaddaruha Takdira Takadira. It basically means that they are going to be glasses, crystal clear glasses made out of silver. And here the Orientalists, they say how. And the believers, they believe it. Okay, Allah has said it, we believe it. And they never go into how. Because silver is a metal which is opaque. And something opaque, how can it change into something transparent? So human mind and intellect does not accept it. But Allah is capable of doing everything. Everything is possible for him. So if Allah is saying that crystalline clear glasses will be made out of silver, then we believe it. This is the way of the believer. And they will be given a drink of pure wine flavored with ginger. So first there was a mention of wine flavored with camphor, and now there's a mention of wine flavored with ginger. This is like exotic drinks which the Arabs of that time used to drink from a spring called Salsabil. So this is the name of the fountain, the waterfall from which this drink will be flowing. They will be waited upon by eternal youth. Eternal youth, they are going to be small boys who are eternally going to remain boys because there's no aging in Jannah. So if you saw them, you would think that they are scattered persons. It's going to be so beautiful. The waiters, even who are waiting upon them, are going to be so. So everything in Jannah is going to be beautiful. The dishes are silverware. The glasses are crystalline. The waiters are beautiful, small, beautiful boys, and the gardens are beautiful, and the robes of silk are beautiful, and the waterfalls and streams are beautiful. So a beautiful landscape has been mentioned here. And if you looked around, you would see indescribable bliss and a vast kingdom. So in this world, when we see around, there is a vast kingdom. But somewhere there is misery, somewhere there is oppression, somewhere there is disease, somewhere there is depression. Somewhere there is heedlessness, some place there is filth, and so this, it's not bliss. It disturbs the mind and disturbs the soul. The agony, the persecution, the death, the disease. So over there, when you will see indescribable bliss, peace. Peace. So what does a heart desire at the end of the day? Peace. Peace is what the heart desires. So some people say we can purchase peace. On the other day, I was teaching this surah to a class, and the students were saying what our heart desires is Lamborghini and wealth. I can buy peace with wealth. I can buy happiness with wealth. That is true. If a person is hungry and he gets some money, and he with that money he buys food, and he eats the food, his hunger is gone. He is comfortable now, and he is happy. But the question is, how long? How long? 3 hours, 4, 6 hours, and then you are hungry again. So whatever bliss and peace, if you get in this world, it's short-lived. What Allah is promising you is eternal bliss and eternal peace. No problems. No problems ever. Just imagine, you don't even have to struggle to get a cup of water from the stream. You don't even have to get up to get a fruit from the tree. Even that much effort is being removed from the life. And what about the huge miseries that we go through? We can't see our kids in front of our eyes because we have to send them away for their good, bright future. The diseases which we are continuously struggling with, working so hard to earn money to provide for the family, facing attitudes of other people, having family problems. And then there is poverty and disease and oppression, and there's no end to sufferings that we have to see, and the political hypocrisy and the economic suppression. And there's no end to this list of suffering and difficulties in this life. Everything will be removed in Jannah, and there is eternal bliss and peace. The virtuous will be dressed in garments of fine green silk and rich brocades, and adorned with bracelets of silver, and their Lord will give them a purifying drink. So it is quite clear that beautiful, luxurious, and state of the art kind of dresses will be provided to the people of Jannah, and the gold and silver and all kind of jewelry, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a purifying drink. The word tahura has been used here, and according to Bayanul Quran, tahura is a drink which removes all diseases of the body and all corruption and diseases of the soul as well. So the person is purified because nothing evil and bad can enter into Jannah. So the body is made clear of all the sicknesses, and the soul is made clear of all the diseases and corruptions as well. So this is the Sharaban Tahura. And they will be told, all this is surely a reward for you. Your striving has been appreciated. That your effort, the mission, the struggle that you went through in your life to keep yourself away from the distraction and maintain a God centric focus, and that was extremely difficult in this life, you maintained it at all costs. So all these things will be provided because you have denied your ego in this life, the place which was a test. Now your ego will be provided everything that it wants and desires. So this is the world which is the time of action. This is not the time of fulfilling our desires. And the eternity is the time of fulfilling your desires, and no action is required. So it is very important. In this world, we are not here to fulfill our desires. We are here to focus on worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And eternity is the time and where your heart's desires will be met and no struggle is required. Indeed, it is we who have revealed the Quran to you, O Prophet, in stages. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed the Quran in stages. And why it needs to be mentioned? Because the other books were not revealed in stages. The Musa alayhi salam went on the mountain of Tur and he got the complete Sharia on tablets in 40 days. So when he came back, he was holding those tablets on which the Sharia was written. So Quran was revealed with wisdom. So Quran has both wisdom and Sharia. We know that we have already talked about it, that the Torah was revealed as a Sharia and no wisdom was mentioned with it. The wisdom came later in Injil. So Injil was a book of wisdom, Torah was a book of Sharia. But Quran is the book of Sharia and wisdom together. Sharia is the commands and prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And wisdom is why these things have been prohibited. What is the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in commanding a few things and removing the others? And what is the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Human welfare. All the things which will be beneficial to mankind immediately or in the longer run have been allowed in Sharia. And everything which will be detrimental to human life or human beings as a whole, in short term or in the longer run, have been removed in Sharia. So if we believe in Allah, we will stay away from them, believing that they are not good for us. So the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also mentioned in Quran. And we know that Quran was revealed piecemeal, and this was also wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Quran was revealed in relation to questions which were being asked to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remember Surah Kahf, in which we know that the Jews has told the pagans of Makkah to ask questions from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about Zulkarnain and the companions of the cave and the Ruh. And as a result, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Surah Kahf and the end of Surah Isra. And then Quran is revealed in order because of some incidents which has taken place, like there were wars and battles in which strategy was required. So the surahs were revealed, like Surah Anfal and Surah Tawbah. These were also revealed like that. And then the Quran was revealed as a result of the developments which were taking around the Prophet ﷺ, like the incidents where Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu anhu forgot her necklace, and I think Surah Ahzab was revealed as an answer to it. And there are many incidences, and as we do the surahs, I'm going to tell you the incidents or the context that why the surah was revealed, and Allah has given answers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not only revealed the Quran but also told us the context in which the orders are to be implemented. So the wisdom was there. That's why Quran was revealed over 23 years in small piecemeal. And Allah is also making clear to the pagans of Makkah that it is Allah who has revealed the Quran. See, it says, indeed, it is we who have revealed the Quran. Because they used to say that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has made it up. So be patient with your Lord's decree and do not yield to any evildoer or staunch disbeliever from among them. So be patient. So Allah is advising the Prophet ﷺ that he has to exercise patience over the slow revelations of the Quran. Because at time the Prophet ﷺ didn't know what to say. We remember in Surah Kahf, for so many days the Prophet ﷺ was waiting for a revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he was an ummi. He had never gone to school. He didn't know how to read and write. He didn't know the answers of all these questions unless they were provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was waiting and the answers were not coming. Because Allah has his own time period of doing things. He knows, he's all wise, and he knows what is the correct time to do and everything. So he will give the revelation on the correct time when it has the maximum impact. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advises the Prophet ﷺ that he has to be patient with the slow revelation. He has to be patient with the rebukes and abuses and the joking and all the persecution which was being the Prophet ﷺ was facing at the hands of the pagans. Because when he used to recite the revelations, they used to make jokes out of it. And when he was not able to give answers, he was waiting for the revelation. Even then they were making jokes. Oh, he doesn't know what he doesn't understand these questions. He's not coming up with answers. He has to make up answers. And they used to make all kind of fun of the Prophet ﷺ, and it was very difficult for the Prophet ﷺ to face it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala advises him to be patient. Always remember the way of your Lord. And how do you do patience? Patience is very difficult to be exercised. So what is the way? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the solution. Always remember the name of your Lord morning and evening. So how do you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala morning and evening? So in those days, as we know that the time period of this surah is early Makkan time. So early Makkan time, there were no prayers prescribed by Allah. The 5 prescribed obligatory prayers came in the 10th, 11th year of prophethood. So in the early phase of the prophethood, there were only 2 units of prayer in the morning and 2 units of prayer in the evening. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, always remember the name of your Lord morning and evening. Do not miss your prayers. And prostrate before him during part of the night. That is the tahajjud prayer, which was compulsory at that time, as we have done in Surah Muzammil. That tahajjud prayer was compulsory at the night. So at the night there were long recitations of Quran in the qiyam of tahajjud prayers, and glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala long at night. Long recitations of Quran, long tasbih. So zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zikr is prayer, and zikr outside the prayer as well. Tasbih. So when you are doing rituals, the prayers, you do zikr during the prayers, and when you are not doing the rituals, in between the rituals or prayers, you are continuously maintaining the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what is the best zikr? La ilaha illallah. Try to keep your tongue moving at all times in the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A very practical form is that you make a chart that whenever I am driving, I am going to do this zikr, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, because you're not doing anything when you are driving. The tongue is free. So make a timetable that when I am driving the car, or when I am moving in a subway, or I am in a bus, I will do this zikr, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. And when I am in my kitchen and I am doing cooking, I am going to this zikr. I am going to say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And when I go for a walk, or I am in a gym and I am running, I am going to do this zikr like Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah wa bihamdihi. So we have to organize our days, how to get the maximum out of our time. So at whatever times you are free of anything which does not require your attention, or which does not require your tongue, that you make zikr and keep your focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is essential. This is the solution Allah is giving to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for patience, because it is impossible for humans to do patience if they do not have a direct contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You maintain that contact by doing the rituals, the roza, hajj, umrah, prayer, namaz, and in between that you maintain that connection by doing zikr. Surely those pagans love this fleeting world, totally neglecting a weighty day ahead of them. So Akhirah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the significance of Akhirah, that though the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is being suggested, is being advised and commanded to continue doing his mission of recitation of Quran in front of the pagans, inviting them towards the way of Islam. But Allah is saying no, most of them, those pagans, they love this fleeting, this temporary world which gives instant gratification, though it is very short lived. It is very short lived. When you eat your food, you are comfortable, you are happy, but for how long? Everything, all the rewards and blessings of this world are very short lived. When I talk about the dresses of brocade and silver and faucets and taps which will open up everywhere you are sitting, and the trees lowering their branches, and bliss and peace, the person might say, I already have it in my life. I have the best to wear, I have the best to drink, I have peace in my life. But for how long? Have you ever imagined? Everything can go in the click of a second. We have seen so many people, their life turn upside down in mere seconds. It turns upside down. Everything is there in 1 second and everything is gone the next second. So how can you have confidence, and how can you depend upon something which is temporary, which can go anytime, on which you have no power to maintain it? Whoever has confidence and has confidence in the things of this world is an idiot, because nothing in this world is forever and it can disappear anytime. Only the one who thinks that Allah has his back is a wise person, who maintains a strong bond and connection with Allah is a wise person, because he is not only blessed in the akhirah, but this world is also given to him complimentary drinks. When you check into a 5-star hotel, they give you complimentary drinks. The value of this world and all its blessing is just a complimentary drink. If you focus on akhirah, if you have gained the akhirah, Allah will give you complimentary this world. So, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says these pagans love this fleeting world, totally neglecting a weighty day ahead of them. It is we who created them and perfected their physical form, but if we will easily replace them with others. So Allah is saying, I am the creator, I am the owner, I own you. So I have created you in the perfect form, and if I want to destroy you, I can destroy you and replace you with somebody else, better people, better worshippers. Or I can destroy you and create you again on the day of resurrection, so that you stand there for your accountability. Surely this is a reminder. So let whoever wills take the right way to their Lord. And what is the right way? The right way is the way of thankfulness, gratefulness under all conditions. Conditions of blessings, conditions of no blessings. You remain God focused and grateful. So it's just a reminder. Quran is just a reminder. Allah is telling you, reminding you again and again. Every age, every civilization, every person is being reminded. But you cannot will to do so unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. To do so, to do what? To take the right way. As the ayah number 29 says, so let whoever wills take the right way, but you can't even will to take the right way until Allah wills that you take the right way. So even your will is under the control of Allah's will. So here the concept of free will needs to be explained. I think I explained it at the end of Surah Mudassir as well, so I'll try to do it again. Indeed, Allah is all knowing, all wise. Remember, He is omniscience and He is Al Hakim, Aliman, Hakiman, perfectly all knowing and perfectly all wise. He admits whoever He wills into His mercy, make things easy to follow the right way. As for the wrongdoers, He has prepared for them a painful punishment, and that is the punishment of hellfire. So when Allah says that, but you cannot even will to take the right path unless Allah wills that you take the right path. So I have looked into this sentence again and again, and only Dr. Israr and Madhudi Saab has been able to explain it a little more to me. And it is again the explanation which I gave at the end of Surah Mudassir, that two things need to be remembered here. One thing, that time is a construct of this realm, the dimension in which we live. In other dimensions, in the dimensions of Allah, all the dimensions are dimensions of Allah. But time only exists in our dimension. So our life, the past of our life and the future of our life is for us, for humans. We can't see the past, we can't go back, and we don't know about the future. We cannot move ahead into the future. What we know is the present. But for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our life is converted into a 2D visual image or a video, a 2D video, in which the past, present and future, Allah can see it all at once. He can see it even before we are born. He already knows it even before the first human being was born. Already everything was written. Allah already knew everything. Our life videos were in front of Him in 2D images. And He already knew what we are going to choose and how we are going to proceed in our life. And we already know that Allah looks into our hearts and looks into our intentions. According to one of the hadith traditions, I am paraphrasing it, the Prophet ﷺ says He looks into your hearts and in your intentions. He does not look at your appearances and at your faces. No, He looks into your hearts, whether there is good in there or bad in there. And He already knows what you are going to choose. So He writes it in Lawh-e Mahfuz, the tablet on the first sky, in which everything has been written before the world was created. So Allah has seen what you have chosen. He's already written it over there. And now when we are born and going through our life, we are only doing what has already been written in that book, because Allah already knew that this is what we are going to choose. So Dr. Israr says that it is not predestiny, it is pre-knowledge. Pre-knowledge, because He knows everything. He already knows what you're about to choose. So because He knows what you're about to choose, He makes things easier for you if you choose the right path, and He gives you more opportunities, gives you more blessings in your right path, so that you you're able to achieve better Jannahs. You know, the Jannah has different levels, and the more taqwa you adopt, the higher your level in Jannah is. And for those who choose the wrong path and try to reject Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah makes opportunities for them so they go in deeper depths of hell. So we say that that person is so bad and Allah has given them so much. Elon Musk, he has been given so much. That is because Allah has opened up opportunities for him to choose a deeper, more deeper well of hell. You know, well is one of the valley of hell of which even the hell is scared. I think I did explain it. So Allah makes opportunities for those, but He sets them loose. So choose a even worse valley of hell for yourself. And they go on in it blindly. They think that they are the blessed people, the chosen people, the entitled ones. And they never turn back. So the more blessed you are, there's more responsibility, more accountability. If you look at Trump and you look at Netanyahu and Elon Musk and you say they are so blessed, Allah is happy with them. No, Allah already know what was in their heart and He has given them opportunities to choose worse, the worst of worse. And the people who had good in their heart, Allah has given them opportunity to go for higher levels of Jannah. You know, when we take exams in the colleges and the classes, when a student comes and he gives a perfect viva, we ask them difficult questions so that they can achieve honors, they can achieve alpha level of their exams. So the tests become harder for the students who are the best students. To them the difficult questions are asked. So the best fighters are given harder questions to solve, and these harder questions will take them to major blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah bless us all with Jannatul Firdaus, and may Allah keep us in His mercy and never let us distract from the right path. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka